my name's Jamie Lee, and I'm so excited that you're here with me in my kitchen. I have so many great recipe ideas inspired by Philadelphia cream cheese, but I only have a limited amount of time, so let's get started. What I'll be making today is a stuffed filet on a sautéed bed of spinach and red onions. I'm going to top that with a homemade dressing also inspired by Philadelphia cream cheese. Now to start this recipe, I have a preheated pan with olive oil. I'm going to add my thinly sliced red onions to my pan and just make sure that they are spread out evenly so that it cooks evenly. And this is on a low heat so that it gets nice and caramelized. Next, I'm going to start on my filet. What I'm going to do is just smooth out my filet. Make sure that the meat is nice and tender. I'm going to add just a smidgen of Worcestershire sauce, not too much. A little goes a long way. And I'm going to add my salt and some freshly ground pepper. And then I'll work those ingredients in, giving it nice, great flavor. So now that I have my filet prepared, I would like to prepare my stuffing with Philadelphia cream cheese. I need about 1/4 cup of this for the stuffing. Just get that in there. I'll be using that again a little later. And then I have about 1/4 cup to 3 tablespoons of blue cheese that I will also be adding. I have fresh parsley, about 3 tablespoons, chopped. And I have some chopped garlic, about 2 cloves. Sometimes I go crazy. I like the garlic. If you like your filet a little creamier with the stuffing, as far as this recipe goes, you can use less garlic. And I have an optional ingredient here. I have pine nuts. These are great. They add rich complexity, but of course if you're allergic, you don't want to add this, or if your guests that you're cooking for are allergic to nuts, you don't want to use this in your recipe, but I think they are fantastic. So I just want to engage on these ingredients real quick. You know, I love cooking ever since I was a kid starting out with mud pies. I'd stay up late at night sometimes just dreaming up recipes. And, you know, I shouldn't admit this, but on occasion I played hooky so that I could stay home and make my recipe ideas into a reality. Okay. These are well mixed. I'm just going to go over here and check on my onions. They're looking pretty good. I want to stir them around and make sure they get a nice caramelization going on them. Okay. Now I'm going to start on my homemade dressing, which also includes Philadelphia cream cheese. I need about 2 tablespoons of this. That in there. I need a tablespoon of mayonnaise. I have some stone ground mustard here, which I will use about 1.5 tablespoons. You can use Dijon if you prefer. Alright, 1.5 tablespoons here. And then as well, I have some red wine vinegar. This is about 3 tablespoons worth. And then I have some grenadine, which you can actually substitute honey, sugar, anything sweet. If you have some raspberry jam, you just want to get that bit of sweetness in this recipe for the homemade dressing. There we go. And then I have some white wine. You need about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of white wine, just so it gets that nice thick consistency. Good for the recipe. Good for the chef. Alright, just going to blend those all together. Okay, that looks like a perfect consistency for my dish. Now, I'm going to come over here and take my spinach and add it to my sauteing red onions. I need about 3 big handfuls, because it will cook down quite a bit. I'm just going to turn this off because it will still produce some heat while it is on this burner. And I want my spinach sauteed, not soggy or snotty. Then I'm going to come over here to my stuffing and my filet and just spread my stuffing evenly across my filet. Now, the thing I love the best about this recipe is that there's so many optional ingredients. Like the garlic, you could use green onions or shallots if you wanted, or if you didn't have any of those ingredients, you could always use powdered garlic. And then as far as the spinach goes, you can use arugula. It has a great spiciness to it, or even amazingly enough, romaine lettuce is delicious sauteed. Okay, I have this well distributed. I don't want it too far on the ends or too far to the sides because I don't want it leaking out while it's cooking in the oven. What I have here is some pre-soaked toothpicks. And the reason why is so that they don't get burnt while they're in the oven cooking. So I'm going to take the most narrow part of this filet and I'm just going to start there and roll up to the whitest part of my filet. And then I'm going to take my toothpicks, making sure to get all that filling stuffed in there so it's not coming out, and seal up all these seams because you don't want this delicious stuffing getting out everywhere all over your pan and burning up your pan, nor do you want it unraveling while it's cooking and just becoming a complete disaster. Okay, I think I've got that pretty well secured. I see a little coming out. You can just take that out with your finger, maybe one more. Okay. So I'm going to come over here with my, let me wipe off my hands there real quick, with my baking sheet and add just a bit of olive oil. And I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm going to take my filet and throw it on my baking sheet, making sure to turn it around, get all that delicious olive oil all over it. Just well immersed in that olive oil. Okay, then I'm going to take this and put it in my oven for about 40 minutes. All right. Okay, before I go any further than this, what I'm going to do is make sure and take out all of my toothpicks, because you don't need a disaster like that ruining a perfectly good meal. So there we go. One more. Oh, there we have it. Okay, let's make sure that we get this spinach just... Okay, and last but not least, of course, is the handmade dressing. And you just want to drizzle that over the top of your steak. It really just adds to the flavor. It completes the entire meal. Voila! A simple, easy, delicious meal inspired by Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm so glad again that you came to my kitchen. My name's Jamie Lee. You don't have to call me that, but don't you dare call me late for dinner. Thanks.